Welcome. Tonight, we will take a slow and peaceful journey into the distant past. There is no rush here, no loud events, no sudden surprises, only the quiet rhythm of daily life in a medieval European village. As you settle into a comfortable position, allow your breathing to become slow and steady. Let your thoughts drift gently. Imagine the modern world fading away. The glow of electric lights disappears. The sound of traffic grows silent. In its place, you hear the soft rustle of wind moving through tall grass. It is somewhere in Europe, perhaps in the 1200s or 1300s. The sun is low in the sky, casting warm light over rolling fields. A small village rests in the center of farmland, surrounded by open fields, scattered trees, and a distant forest at the edge of the horizon. Tonight, we will walk through this village together. We will visit simple wooden homes. We will watch farmers at work. We will listen to the sounds of markets and church bells. And we will stay long enough to see lantern light flicker in narrow streets as night gently arrives. Take a slow breath. The air is fresh. The land is calm. Let us begin. A medieval village is not large. It may contain only a few dozen homes, clustered together for warmth and safety. Around it stretch long, narrow strips of farmland. These fields are divided among families, each household tending several strips scattered across the land. In spring, the fields glow green with young crops. In summer, golden grain sways gently in the breeze. In autumn, the land is busy with harvest. In winter, frost settles quietly over empty soil. At the center of the village stands a small stone church. Its bell tower rises modestly above the wooden rooftops. Nearby, a simple well provides water for the community. The houses are built from timber frames filled with woven branches and clay, a method known as wattle and daub. Roofs are covered in thick thatch made from straw. The walls are uneven but sturdy. Smoke rises slowly from holes in the rooftops where hearth fires burn inside. The air smells of earth, wood smoke, and growing crops. There are no paved roads here, only dirt paths worn smooth by many footsteps. Chickens wander freely. A dog rests in the shade. Life moves at a gentle pace. Now, imagine that dawn is breaking. The sky shifts from pale gray to soft pink. A rooster calls from somewhere near a cottage. Smoke begins to rise from chimneys as families stir awake. Inside a small home, a farmer rises from a straw-filled mattress. He dresses in a simple woolen tunic, pulling it over his head and tying it at the waist with a leather belt. His wife ties on an apron over her long linen dress. Children rub their eyes and sit up slowly. The hearth is stirred back to life. Embers glow red beneath ash. A small flame flickers upward as kindling is added. Porridge made from oats begins to cook in a clay pot. The scent is warm and comforting. Breakfast is simple. Bread baked the day before, a bowl of porridge, perhaps a bit of cheese, water drawn from the well. The meal is eaten quietly. The day's work awaits. Step outside now and walk slowly down the main path. Your boots press into packed earth. The church bell rings softly, marking the beginning of the day. Farmers lead oxen toward the fields. Women carry baskets filled with tools or laundry. Children run ahead, laughing softly. The blacksmith's workshop stands near the center of the village. Already you hear the rhythmic sound of hammer striking metal, a steady, measured beat.
Nearby, a carpenter shapes wood with careful strokes. Chickens scatter as a cart rolls past, its wooden wheels creaking gently. The sky grows brighter. The village is fully awake. Yet there is no sense of hurry, only purpose. Beyond the last house, the land stretches wide. Farmers work side by side in long rows. Some guide plows pulled by oxen, turning the soil slowly and evenly. Others scatter seeds by hand, their movements steady and practiced. The earth smells rich and damp. In summer, insects hum quietly in the grass. The sun warms backs and shoulders. Work is physical, but rhythmic. There is time for conversation as hands move. Neighbors share news while tending their strips of land. Life here depends on cooperation. No one farms alone. At midday, some villagers return to the well. The well stands at the heart of the settlement. A wooden bucket lowers slowly into the cool darkness below. Water is drawn up and poured into clay jugs. Women gather here not only for water, but for conversation. They speak softly about crops, weather, and family matters. Children sit nearby, watching the bucket rise and fall. The well is more than a source of water. It is a meeting place, a quiet center of community life. Time in a medieval village is marked by natural signs: the rising and setting of the sun, the ringing of the church bell, the changing of seasons. There are no clocks in most homes. People measure the day by light and shadow. Morning begins with dawn. Midday arrives when the sun stands high overhead. Evening comes when the sky glows gold. This natural rhythm shapes everything: work, meals, rest. And slowly, as the sun lowers once again, the village prepares for evening. Let us return now to one of the village homes and step inside more slowly. The doorway is low. You must bend your head slightly to enter. Inside, the space is simple and dim. Light filters through a small window opening, sometimes covered with oiled cloth instead of glass. The floor is packed earth, smoothed by many years of footsteps. At the center of the room is the hearth, the true heart of the house. Stones form a rough circle around the fire. Above it hangs an iron pot suspended from a hook. Smoke rises slowly toward a small opening in the roof. Some of it escapes, some lingers, giving the room a faint, constant scent of wood smoke. Furniture is modest. A wooden table stands near the fire. A few stools and benches sit around it. Against one wall rests a large chest containing clothing, tools, and precious belongings. Beds are simple frames stuffed with straw and covered in wool blankets. In colder months, animals such as chickens may even be kept in a small section of the home at night, adding warmth. Everything inside this house serves a purpose. There is no clutter, no decoration beyond perhaps a small carved wooden cross hanging on the wall. Yet the space feels lived in, comforted by routine. Clothing in the medieval village is practical and durable. Most garments are made from wool or linen, spun and woven by hand. Men wear long tunics that reach the knee, tied at the waist with leather belts. Beneath the tunic, they may wear simple trousers called hose. Women wear long dresses that reach the ankles. Over these, they often tie aprons for protection during cooking and work. In cooler weather, cloaks are worn for warmth. Colors are muted and natural: browns, grays, soft greens, faded blues. Dyes are made from plants, roots, and minerals, so bright colors are rare. Clothing is valuable. It is carefully mended when torn. Patches are sewn neatly over worn spots. Children wear smaller versions of adult garments. Shoes are made of leather, laced securely around the foot. Most villagers own only a few sets of clothing. Each piece is cared for with attention.
The tools of village life are simple but essential. Farmers use wooden plows with iron tips, pulled by oxen. Sickles are used to cut grain. Hoes loosen soil around growing plants. Inside homes, wooden spoons stir pots of stew. Clay jugs store water and ale. Candles made from tallow provide light at night, though they are used sparingly. Spinning wheels and drop spindles turn raw wool into thread. The blacksmith shapes iron tools that keep the village working: nails, horseshoes, knife blades. Each object is handmade. Each one represents careful labor. There is a quiet respect for tools in this world. They are not easily replaced. As the sun reaches its highest point in the sky, villagers pause for a midday meal. Food is simple and seasonal. Bread is the foundation of most meals: dark, heavy loaves made from barley or rye. A thick stew called pottage simmers slowly over the hearth. It contains whatever vegetables are available: cabbage, onions, beans, carrots. Sometimes bits of salted pork or bacon are added for flavor. Cheese made from goat or cow milk provides protein. In summer, fresh herbs from small gardens add fragrance and taste. Water from the well is common, though ale is often consumed as well, since it is safer to drink. Meals are eaten from wooden bowls with spoons. There are no forks. Conversation during meals is calm. Families speak quietly about the work ahead or the tasks already completed. After eating, work resumes. Let us step into the blacksmith's workshop. The building is slightly apart from the others for safety. Inside, the air is warmer. A small forge glows red. The blacksmith pumps a bellows, feeding air to the fire until the coals burn brighter. He places a piece of iron into the flames. When it glows orange, he removes it with tongs and places it on an anvil. Then, with steady rhythm, he strikes. Clang, clang, clang. The sound carries across the village. It is not harsh, it is familiar. Villagers rely on him for tools, horseshoes, and repairs. He works patiently, shaping metal with practiced hands. Sparks rise briefly, then disappear. Near the edge of the village, where a small stream flows, stands the mill. The water turns a large wooden wheel. Inside, heavy stones grind grain into flour. Farmers bring sacks of harvested grain here after the harvest season. The miller measures carefully, keeping a portion as payment for his service. The sound inside the mill is steady and low. Stone against stone. The scent of fresh flour fills the air. Without the mill, bread could not be made easily. It is another quiet but vital part of daily life. The church stands at the heart of the village. Its stone walls are cool even on warm days. Inside, sunlight filters through small stained glass windows, casting muted colors onto the floor. The priest leads prayers, offers guidance, and marks important events: births, marriages, funerals. The church bell rings to signal morning prayers, midday rest, and evening devotion. Its sound carries far across fields. Villagers pause briefly when they hear it. The church provides structure to time itself. It anchors the community in shared belief. Children in the village are not idle. From a young age they help with chores. Boys may assist in fields, guiding animals or gathering wood. Girls may help spin wool, fetch water, or tend small gardens. Formal schooling is rare, though some learning happens through the church. Skills are passed down through observation. A child watches a parent knead bread. A boy studies how his father repairs a fence. A girl observes how herbs are prepared for cooking. Learning is woven into daily life. As afternoon begins to fade, the quality of light changes. The bright midday sun softens into warm gold. Long shadows stretch across dirt paths.
Farmers gather tools and guide animals back toward enclosures. Women bring laundry in from wooden lines. The air cools slightly. Birds settle into trees. The village slows. The busiest part of the day has passed. Evening approaches. Not every day in a medieval village feels the same. Once each week, or perhaps once every few weeks, a nearby town may host a market. Sometimes traveling merchants even arrive directly in the village. Let us imagine such a day. The sun rises just as it always does, but there is a quiet sense of anticipation in the air. Villagers gather small goods to trade: eggs carefully wrapped in straw, wheels of cheese, woven baskets, bundles of herbs. By mid-morning, a few carts roll slowly into the open space near the church. Merchants unfold cloths over wooden tables. They display simple treasures from beyond the village: salt from distant shores, iron tools, colored thread, perhaps even small pieces of fine fabric. The atmosphere is not loud. There is no shouting or rushing, only steady conversation. Coins change hands slowly. Sometimes goods are traded directly for other goods. A farmer may exchange grain for a new knife blade. A woman may trade eggs for dyed thread. Children stand nearby, watching wide-eyed as unfamiliar items appear before them. The market is more than commerce. It is connection. It brings news from other villages, stories of harvests in distant fields, word of festivals in neighboring towns. For a few hours, the quiet village feels slightly larger. Then, as afternoon fades, carts are loaded once more. The open space empties, and daily life returns to its familiar rhythm. Village life depends deeply on cooperation. Large tasks cannot be done alone. When harvest season arrives, families work side by side in the fields. Men and women cut grain with sickles, gathering sheaves and tying them carefully. Children help stack bundles upright so they can dry. There is little talking during the hardest labor, but there is understanding. Each person knows their role. When a roof needs repair, neighbors gather to help lift new thatch into place. When a fence falls in a storm, hands work together to mend it. This cooperation is not unusual or celebrated loudly. It is simply expected. Survival depends upon it.
The land provides, but only when tended by many hands. Throughout the year, the church calendar marks special days. Harvest festivals are among the most meaningful. Let us imagine one now. After weeks of labor, the grain has been safely gathered. The fields stand mostly empty, their work complete. On a cool autumn evening, villagers gather near the church. Lanterns hang from wooden posts. Long tables are set up outside. Bread is shared freely. Stew is served in large clay bowls. There may be music, a simple pipe or drum played softly. People stand in small circles, speaking with relaxed smiles. Children chase one another in the fading light. There is gratitude in the air, not loud celebration, but contentment. The knowledge that winter stores are secured. The knowledge that the community has worked well together. As the sun lowers, the sky glows amber and rose. Voices soften, and slowly the gathering dissolves into evening. Family ties are central to village life. Marriages are often arranged with practical considerations in mind: land, labor, shared stability. Yet affection grows through shared daily work. When a wedding takes place, the entire village may attend. The church bell rings brightly. The bride wears her finest dress, perhaps simply cleaner and better mended than usual. After the ceremony, food is shared. There may be modest dancing, but even on such joyful days, the tone remains grounded. Life will continue the next morning. Crops must still be tended. Animals must still be fed. The celebration is folded gently into routine. Family bonds extend beyond husband and wife. Grandparents live close by. Cousins share fields. Generations support one another. As daylight begins to fade, storytelling becomes a quiet form of entertainment. In the absence of printed books for most villagers, stories are passed by word of mouth. An elder might recount a tale of a distant city. A father may share a story learned from his own grandfather. Some tales are moral lessons. Others are simple memories. These stories are told slowly by firelight. The same ones may be repeated many times, but repetition brings comfort. Children listen with heavy eyelids. The fire crackles gently. Outside, the sky deepens toward evening. Now let us step outside once more. The sun is nearing the horizon. Its light grows softer, warmer. Golden rays stretch across rooftops and fields. Farmers guide animals back into enclosures. The last tools are carried indoors. Smoke rises from chimneys as evening meals begin to cook. The church bell rings once more. Its tone is low and steady. Birds flutter toward trees to roost. The village path grows quieter. Children are called home. Doors close gently. Shadows lengthen across the earth. Inside homes, supper is prepared. Pottage simmers again in the iron pot. Fresh bread may be sliced. Perhaps a small portion of meat is shared if available. Families gather around the table. The fire casts moving shadows against the walls. Conversation is quiet. There is a tired satisfaction after a day of labor. Hands are washed in cool water from a basin. Wooden bowls are filled. Steam rises softly. Outside, dusk settles fully. The first stars appear overhead. After supper, small tasks continue. A woman spins wool by the hearth. A man repairs a wooden handle with careful strokes of a knife. Children lie down on straw mattresses. Candles are lit briefly, then extinguished to preserve them. The fire is banked, covered with ash so embers remain alive until morning. Outside, the dirt paths are nearly empty. A dog barks once in the distance. Then silence returns. The sky above the village is deep blue now, almost black. Stars multiply. The village prepares for full night. Now night has fully arrived. The last glow of sunset has faded from the horizon. The sky above the village is deep and wide, filled with countless stars. There are no street lamps here, no artificial glow beyond what fire and candle can provide. Darkness is natural, complete, and familiar. From outside the cottages, only faint light slips through small window openings. Inside, hearth fires burn low. The village feels smaller at night, wrapped closely in shadow. But it does not feel empty. It feels at rest. In some villages, especially larger ones, a watchman may be appointed to walk the paths after dark. Let us imagine him now. He carries a small lantern made of horn panels and wood. Inside, a candle flickers softly. His footsteps press quietly into the dirt path. He walks slowly, listening.
His purpose is simple: to watch for fire, to watch for wandering animals, to watch for any disturbance that might threaten the peace of the village. Fire is the greatest danger. With thatched roofs and timber walls, a single spark could spread quickly. So he pauses near homes, glancing upward at rooftops. Satisfied, he moves on. The light from his lantern sways gently as he walks. Eventually, he returns to his own cottage. The village continues sleeping. Let us now imagine a winter night. Snow rests softly along rooftops and fences. The air is crisp and cold. Footsteps are muffled beneath layers of white. Inside homes, fires burn brighter and longer. Families sit closer together for warmth. Wool cloaks hang near the hearth to dry. A pot of thick stew simmers slowly. The wind may press against wooden walls with a soft hum. Shutters rattle gently, but inside there is comfort. Lantern light glows warmly against rough walls. Blankets are thick. Breathing is slow. Winter nights are long, yet they are filled with quiet endurance. Now imagine summer instead. The air remains warm even after sunset. Doors may be left slightly open to allow a breeze to pass through. The scent of grass and distant flowers drifts inside. Crickets begin their steady rhythm. An owl calls softly from the edge of the forest. Children fall asleep more slowly in the warmth. Outside, the stars shine brilliantly. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like a pale path of light. Some villagers may step outside briefly before bed, looking upward. There is a sense of wonder in the night sky. It reminds them of something vast and steady beyond daily labor. Life in a medieval village requires awareness. Wild animals roam nearby forests: wolves, foxes, deer. Livestock must be secured at night. Gates are closed carefully. Animals are brought into pens. Sometimes chickens or small animals are kept indoors. Doors are barred from the inside. Not because danger is constant, but because caution is wise. The village is surrounded by open land, and while neighbors are close,
Wilderness is never far away, yet most nights pass peacefully. The greatest companion is silence. Now let us gently widen our view once more. Medieval villages are often part of a larger manor. The land is owned by a lord who may live in a manor house not far from the village. Villagers work strips of land and, in return, provide a portion of their harvest or labor. This system, known as manorialism, shapes the structure of rural life. It is not something villagers discuss daily. It is simply the way things are organized. Each family tends its assigned fields. Certain days may be set aside for working the Lord's land. The church provides spiritual structure. The seasons provide agricultural structure. Together, these systems create a predictable rhythm. Life is rarely easy, but it is understandable. Bound by routine and expectation, now we arrive at the deepest part of the night. The fire in each hearth has burned down to glowing embers beneath ash. The church stands silent in the center of the village. The bell does not ring at this hour. The air is still. Even the wind seems to pause. Inside cottages, families sleep deeply. Breathing is slow and even. Occasionally, someone may stir briefly, turning over, adjusting a blanket. Then stillness returns. Outside, the stars shine clearly. Without any competing light, the sky feels immense. The earth rests beneath it. Time feels almost suspended. Gradually, almost without notice, the sky begins to lighten. It is subtle at first. A faint gray line appears along the eastern horizon. The stars begin to fade. A rooster calls from near a cottage. Another answers from farther away. Inside homes, someone stirs. A mother rises quietly to check the hearth. She blows gently on embers. A small flame returns. The first thin stream of smoke rises from a rooftop. Morning is returning, not suddenly, but softly, as it always does. Soon the church bell will ring. Doors will open. Footsteps will press once more into dirt paths. Oxen will be led toward the fields. The well bucket will lower and rise again. The cycle of village life will continue. Day after day, season after season, year after year. The rhythm remains steady, rooted in land and light. And now, as dawn fully approaches, we prepare for the final reflection. Now that we have walked through fields and narrow dirt paths, now that we have stepped inside timber-framed homes and listened to the soft crackle of hearth fires, let us pause together. Life in a medieval European village was not filled with grand events. It was not shaped by constant change. Instead, it was shaped by repetition, by sunrise and sunset, by planting and harvest, by ringing church bells and shared meals. Most villagers would never travel far beyond the fields they worked. Their world was small in distance, but it was full in detail. They knew the sound of the wind across their own fields. They knew the rhythm of the blacksmith's hammer. They knew the scent of bread baking in their own hearth. Their lives were built from ordinary moments, moments repeated again and again. And in those repetitions there was stability. In the modern world, life often moves quickly, but in a medieval village, time flowed slowly. The body woke with light. It rested when darkness fell. Meals were simple yet dependable. Clothing was worn and mended carefully. Tools were repaired rather than replaced. Routine provided comfort. When the church bell rang at dawn, everyone understood what it meant. When harvest season arrived, hands knew exactly what to do. Children grew into adults by learning through watching and helping. The rhythm of life was steady, predictable.
Grounded in the natural world, there was little uncertainty about what tomorrow would hold. Tomorrow would hold work, shared meals, evening rest, and another sunrise. Perhaps the most powerful connection in medieval village life was the bond between people and land. The soil beneath their feet was not distant or abstract. It was their livelihood, their food, their future. They walked the same narrow paths every day. They worked the same strips of land each season. They knew where the earth was softer, where water gathered after rain, where frost settled first in autumn. This deep familiarity created a sense of belonging. The land was not something separate from them. It was part of their identity. When crops grew well, the village felt secure. When winter was long, everyone felt its weight together. The land shaped their days, and their days shaped the land. Community in a medieval village was not optional, it was essential. Neighbors relied on one another for survival. During harvest, hands joined together. During illness, care was shared. During winter, food and warmth were valued collectively. Life was lived close to others. Privacy was limited, but companionship was constant. Shared labor created shared understanding. Shared worship created shared belief. Shared hardship created shared resilience. And in the evenings, as families gathered around their hearths, they knew they were not alone in their struggles or their hopes. As we have seen, night in the village was not something to fear. It was part of the rhythm. Lantern light flickered softly. The watchman walked his quiet path. The stars filled the sky with steady light. Darkness brought rest, and rest prepared the body for another day. There were no glowing streets, no mechanical sounds, only wind, occasional animal calls, the low murmur of a dying fire. The sky overhead, vast and unchanged. Night was an invitation to slow down, to let go of the day's labor, to trust that morning would return. Now let us return once more to that small village. It is evening again. The sky glows briefly with gold before fading to blue. Farmers have guided their oxen back to wooden enclosures. Women have hung their aprons by the hearth. Children have climbed beneath wool blankets. The blacksmith's forge is dark. The mill wheel has stopped turning. The church stands quiet in the center of the village. A faint breeze moves through the thatched roofs. Lanterns glow in a few windows. Then, one by one, they fade. The village rests. Above, the stars stretch across the sky, brighter than most people see today. The Milky Way arcs overhead like a pale path of light. The earth turns gently beneath it. Time moves slowly, calmly, steadily. And now, as we gently step away from this medieval village, allow the images to soften. The dirt paths, the timber-framed homes, the scent of wood smoke, the steady ringing of the church bell, the quiet conversations at the well, the glow of lantern light at dusk. Imagine yourself standing just outside the village. The night air is cool. The fields stretch out before you, silver in moonlight. There is no hurry, no noise, only stillness. Take a slow breath. Feel the calm of the open land. Hear the faint rustle of grass. See the steady stars overhead. The village sleeps,
the fields rest, and you too may rest now. Let your thoughts grow quiet. Let the gentle rhythm of medieval life carry you softly toward sleep. The bell will ring again at dawn, but for now, the night is peaceful, and history rests gently around you. Good night.